You are now about to witness, for the 8th attempted time, the awesome, crushing might of the technologically challenged, wait for it, 301 Whoa, welcome my friends. Let's hope, my God, let's hope that this is a show that doesn't end after 8 attempted times. The studio is full of house guests. They were locked in the room with the Wi-Fi router. I have no idea what they were doing. If it was me, I'd have been in there with the on and off switch. Just to fucking with you, G. Don't know why you can't do the show. Click. Click. Can't do the show, eh? Click. You need either case, it could be somebody at Comcast doing the same thing. Loud and clear. Thank you, sir, for letting me know. This is round number 303. I'm your host, UG S. S stands for Sorrel Robinson. But first, this. I'm on my way back to nowhere. I'm taking a real good look at you. At your face. Being paid back for always nothing. All right. My friends, thank you for sticking with me through the painful 8 attempted tries. The cat is yowling. I'm going to fuck with the sign just in case it falls. Then we have run the table of tech. There you go. Tech probably get out of here. So anyway, it's going to be a short show because unless you paid attention, that if you did see a Care Don't Care preview, this is what Kid Nate said. I'd care about 4 cards on the fight. I cared about 4 cards on the fight. And, you know, if it's a fight like that, if there are tons of them, look, I understand placekeepers. One of you texted me. You're like, hey, man, hey, I watched the fights live. You know what? On the TV, the Fox Sports 1, 6.5 hours of my life I'm never getting back. How many commercials do I have to say about Burger King before I got it? I got it. So we're going to talk about the fights, but even more importantly, I cared about Caceres and Rodriguez. Thales Ledes. I cared about Court McGee and Cub Swanson. That's my 4. So there were others that were somehow noteworthy or sort of interesting. I'll touch on those. But more importantly, I'm going to start with the last one first and go through. More importantly, if you're watching this show, I'm calling it the William Morrison of the UFC as glimpsed through the lens of UFC Fight Night 92 or the Hollywoodization. I think I used that word somewhere. One of the things that one of the shows that didn't work out. The Hollywoodization of MMA. And look, I don't want to. I need to preface this immediately in the short term by saying I love the William Morris deal. I think that the William Morris deal is stunningly great. I think that those of you who don't know how great the William Morris deal should take it from me. It is fucking great. And if you are a fighter, well, this is what I'm concerned about. this is what I'm concerned about. You know, you have that old Hollywood adage that sincerity is everything. And once you got that faked, you got it made. Okay? Keep that in mind. I said that. I want you to remember it. Keep it in mind. So, you're watching Caceres and Rodriguez. And because Caceres is by proxy a friend of Knuckle Up, I had his brother on the show. I was going to extend it to him. Kid Nate said, I think you're crazy. I thought about it. I love Rodriguez. I've called him a modern Sakuraba. I like these guys who are heavy on the artist portion of the martial, and they're digging down deep, creating as you go. Like like not like John Irving, who says he writes the last chapter first so he knows where the book is going. Nah, that makes it an incredibly dull book. I had some ex of mine who was a writer, and I go, how are you getting to the end? She goes, just make it up. So that your process of writing a book, you have some, like my novel, A Long Slow Screw, I said I want to do a meditation on cash, filthy lucre. I want to do a meditation on that and how it intersects with Western mores. That's all I knew, you know. And there's a robbery at the beginning of the book, and I hadn't even. I wrote the book in such a way so that if somebody tears out the last page, you don't know who did it. All right. So I like the idea of creation on the hoof. I think that is a true spirit of art. Also the ex nihilo thing of like from nothing, I create something from the sense world of eternal platonic ideas, truth, goodness, beauty. I like this. But everybody, if you haven't learned anything from watching this show, you should learn one thing. And that one thing that you should learn from watching this show is a very simple fact that everything can be a con. And I don't mean that in a Donald Trump-esque way where you know everything's a disaster and everything you can't trust, and the reckless talk about the election being rigged with not having any kind of understanding. Oh, you're creating a very dangerous situation when you do that. If I'm saying stuff to you like Hitler got away, I'm coming to you with proof that provides a basis for my belief that Hitler got away. Right? That's what I'm doing. I'm not just saying Hitler got away and leaving it at that. I'm going into the Hitler thing right away. Okay? Right away. This is very different from the Trump thing, but everything can be a con. For example, so we tied it into the Hollywood adage, sincerity is everything. Once you got that fake, you got it made. Everything can be a con. And by which I mean, Yair Rodriguez has figured out that I'm not saying that there's an ounce of contrivance in that young lad, but has figured out that his brand differentiator is the Sakuraba thing, right? There's also the other Hollywood adage which I hate: give the people what they want. Nah, which accounts for my lack of success in the entertainment field. Give the people what they want. No, I'm going to give the people what I want. You know, hey, look, you know, I knew those guys who would go out on dates and they would show up with 12 dozen roses. His name was Rick Guerra. 12 dozen roses, a bottle of champagne, some cocaine, and took the woman to, you know, he brought her home a T-bone steak and he cooked up all, like, man, hey, Jack. And this was some beautiful, she's beautiful woman. And I'm sitting there in the trailer and she comes in and I'm like, if a douchebag like this can get a woman like that, then it doesn't really matter what I do. Yeah, I could shit in a bag and rub it on my shirt. It doesn't matter what I do. So I go to my other roommate, 4 of us lived in the trailer. I go and say, hey, man, can I borrow your clippers? He goes, yeah, sure. What do you need them for? I said, I'm going to cut my pubic hair. He goes, nah, I'm joking. I use your toothbrush for that. I'm just kidding. You can't use a toothbrush to cut pubic hair. I use it to clean my butt. But what I really want from you is the clippers because I'm shaving my head. First time I ever shaved my head. And he's like, oh, man, he's in the bathroom. And now this girl, she got the 1-inch steak. She's got the cocaine, the champagne, the roses. She's trying to get out of the back bedroom. But what this dummy doesn't realize, Rick Guerra, what he doesn't realize is that there's no way that she's fucking him in a house with 2 other guys hanging around. Yeah, dude, you know, you gotta, hey, get rid of the bottle of champagne, get yourself a Motel 6, and then, but he was 19, 20. What did he know? Overkill, blew it. So she hears us, she goes, oh, what are you doing? And she comes in the bathroom with us, and she's like, you cut your hair? Here, let me do it. So then I got this like beautiful woman, and she's shaving my head, and I'm looking at Rick Guerra. I'm sitting on the toilet, actually. Sitting in the toilet in the bathroom as she is shaving my hair. You know, she's kind of moving my head. Or oh, you got such a nice shaped head. And I'm looking at Rick Guerra like, well, how's your date going now, buddy? And he keeps trying to corral her back in the back bedroom, and she's like not going for it. This was a long story that underscores the fact that cons are everywhere. Yeah, Rodriguez might know. I'm not saying there's an ounce of contrivance a young man might know that, hey, you know, when I go out there and I do that spinning kick and the cartwheel kick and I'm doing all that sock, and, you know, I could sell that to the people. I bring up Rick Guerra because I want to say, you know, that was never my date style. My date style was, hey, hey, you want to hang out? I mean, that could mean anything, right? But what it didn't mean was a 1-inch steak, a bottle of champagne, a bindle full of cocaine, and failure. That's not what it meant, right? So, so he could genuinely be this guy. You know, I'm gonna try a cartwheel kick. I'm gonna try some capoeira. I'm gonna try this. You know, or we could get something else. And this is what I named the show after it. Therefore, I'm having strong suspicions that we could be about the William Morrison of, you know, listen to Mystic Mac. Mystic Mac says, yeah, I was lined up to do Triple X with Vin Diesel, and I just walked away. I told my agent, well, Michael Bisping and I share the same agent, and he threw it to Michael Bisping. I don't even get a thank you from Bisping. All right, gotcha. Don't even get a thank you for, oh, so this is the kind of playing field that these fighters are paying attention to, that the cheap seats, us in the cheap seats, are not even really paying attention to. Had it not, I mean, he could have said, look, I'm getting $5 million for this fight. I could ask them for $5 million salary for this and points, Screen Actor Guild, and it's good. Vin Diesel, you know, with the Fast and Furious franchise, this could turn into something. I postponed the fight. I'm doing a movie, whatever. Nobody, I can take more time to try. He goes, no, I'm about this game. Okay, well, fine, whatever. We'll get to that later. So what you look for cause, motive and cause. So on the one hand, yeah, I figured out my calling card is that guy. I'm that crazy artistic guy. You don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do cartwheels. I could do matrix shit. I could do any capoeira. I'm mixing it up. I'm the most exciting thing around. The Mexican Marvel. I could do that, and you know, you might see those Q ratings go up, and people think, well, you know, his English has got to get better. English, yeah, English is part of it, man. You could be big in Mexico, huge in Mexico. Keep in mind, man, Menudo, well, is Menudo Mexican? Please let me know. I don't remember. But what I'm saying is, you could be tons of people in Mexico. You could be huge in Mexico and never have to leave. It's like stars in New York. These people would break big in New York. 10 million people in New York City. I don't need the rest of the country for anything. I could sell enough records here. Frankie Crocker, WBLS. He'd break a record in New York, man. In California, people would be like, who? I'm not saying that he can drive this until I see Bruce Leroy, Alex Caceres, answer. So dude does, one of those spinning capoeira kicks, and Bruce Leroy comes with a spinning shit, and they're both doing spinning shit. And then I start to go, like Peter Falk. Suddenly, there's one other thing. There's one other thing. What's the likelihood that in any given fight you're going to see two fighters just bust loose with the spinning shit that largely ineffective gets the crowd on their feet and excites the chattering class? I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. You know, I think if you're in a fight, what you're trying to do is like there's a certain amount of that breakdance bravado, braggadocio. You know, you do a spinning kick, ba-bing. The other guy goes, "Hey, I got your spinning kick. I'll meet your spinning kick, and I'll raise you an axe kick." Spinning, and you're trying to make some sort of point, but it went on too long. 5 rounds, split decision. You know, that means that somebody's fucking around. They're really closely matched. Yeah, that is true. But if you're going to tell me honestly, that the thought of upmarket goodness hasn't entered their minds, I'm going to call you a goddamn liar. Upmarket goodness, TV commercials, TV shows, guest appearance spots, walk-ons, feature films, direct-to-DVD, college, whatever. Sponsorship, okay, yes. It's not college football. You can only wear Reebok stuff, but I mean, do you think some of the A-list guys are actually buying their own vehicles? Every single one of these, as far as I know, Reebok is not making any vehicles. Every single one of these fight packages has some shot with the fighter driving up to the gym. It doesn't. Doug Holland, the guitar player for Kraut, and then later played in the Cro-Mags and the New York hardcore punk rock guy. When I came to New York for the first time on tour with Whipping Boy, he said, "Let's go to some shows." I don't have any money. He was like, we go to a club I never could have gotten into when I was a New Yorker. I got a Mohawk chain belt, old engineer boots. He goes, "Wait here." He goes up to the front door guy and he's talking, he's pointing back at me and the guitar player. We're in. We went to every single club. We didn't pay a nickel. We would comp drinks. I go, "What did you tell him?" He goes, "Don't worry about it." Later, I found out he was telling these guys are celebrities from California. Look at them. Look at that. You gotta let these guys in. The New York Post will be all over them. What do you think if you're actually fighting on the big fight that these kind of whispers haven't made it to your ears? I'll tell you something else. You know Joker, right? From Tap Out. I mean, he's had a couple he's a real battles. Depression is a disease. He's a really funny guy, but he actually really suffers from this terrible depression, right? He has had an MMA career, has fought some fights. When I got a credential from the UFC for some fight, I come in, I think, shit, I'm late. There are guys in there fighting. You know, the guys in there fight. They're fucking fighting up a storm. They're just killing it. What? And I'm confused about what I'm seeing. And one guy almost tapped, and they're doing an exhibition match. Like a warm-up comedian, they're doing an exhibition match. And it's like when you go, and this is why it's one of the reasons it's so cool to be a black belt, I imagine, is that you're actually not trying to kill the person you're with, because what do you prove? You're both black belts. You know you could. You're actually just trying to make moves happen. And had I not been told it was an exhibition, I wouldn't have known. There was no benefit, and I'm going to back off the conspiracy for a little bit here. There was no benefit to either of these guys to lose, which means that there was plenty of motive for them to win. But it's how you win that makes a difference. Okay? And I was going to say, compared to Nate Diaz and Mystic Mac, but it's another con. And I don't mean, this is con with quote marks around it. Because Nate Diaz's brand has him looking that way after every fight. Blood dripping down his face, spitting at the camera. "What's up, bitches?" or whatever it is he says. You know, I mean, the most depressing thing about imagination are those people who don't have it. I jokingly put something on my Facebook page this week about dick pics. And I said that it was in relation to the If I Did It show, because we talk about Draymond Green and he gets busted sending a dick pic. And I said, you know what? During the show, I said, you know, I'd like to apologize right now to the world, but more specifically America, because, you know, while it was a big thing in Europe, pretty much people weren't doing the dick pic thing in America, and I brought it to America, and people have really misused it. And people got a good laugh out of it, but like my lady said at one point, Eugene's got a pretty good sense of humor, but he's not joking. She was saying that specifically about me telling some guy I was going to ice pick him in the face for getting sexy with her. He's like, oh, is Eugene serious? She goes, yeah, you know, he's got a good sense of humor, but he's not joking. Same fucking thing. So, I mean, what after the fight today, whose phone was ringing and who was ringing that phone? Who was calling that phone? Yeah, I mean, I'm almost saying Conor with quote marks around it. That's Nate Diaz's brand. He's playing to his brand. Nobody's asking him to play the same roles that say who else has made it significant? Oleg Toktarov. I mean, if you don't think that if you don't think William Morris is 20 steps ahead of you and your understanding of how talent works in Hollywood, you're wrong. Because there's nothing that Oleg Toktarov showed you, this fairly taciturn, dour-faced Russian Sambo guy. There is absolutely nothing that he gave in the cage that led you to believe that he was going to be as great as he was in that Robert De Niro movie, where he played this really animated, kind of crazy, wacky, not like Boris the Blade, but kind of like that. Somebody looked at him and they saw him and they go, when I interviewed Chris Blackwell at Ozzy Fest, he was talking about when Bob Marley first walked in his office, and he was like, man, that it. So like I'm giving some guy who trained jiu-jitsu with some love advice. And I'm saying, hey, you know, first of all, alcohol, forget the restaurant, which is just my version of let's hang out. Unstructured time. It was a restaurant. It's uncomfortable. That's the third date stuff, not the first two dates. Just hang out the first two dates. I got to get to know you. And the second thing I said was, don't act disinterested. Be disinterested. In other words, interest is something that has to be instilled, inculcated, and developed. Just because you put on a nice dress, I'm supposed to be interested? No. We have to have a real exchange here from both sides. That's interesting. Now, I've been busy this whole week. You know, I had my nuptials and my mother's in town, the family and the whole bit. Actually, I was married before, but this was the wedding party. Hey, he's scratching. So I've been pretty busy. I haven't answered all your emails. I'll get to some of your emails. But the reality of it is, oh, I see. You got tired of farting by the door. You want to fart a little closer to my nose. It's pretty considerate. He's a considerate dog, that Popeye. So I'm telling you that one, these guys are correct to understand that big eyes are looking at them. And look, let me explain to you why. You say, well, if it was going to happen, how WWE, forget about that. Those guys are cartoons. Yeah, and even in the midst of cartoons, John Cena, how many movies has he done? He's done a crap load. Somebody in Hollywood has to sit there and look at him and see, like Chris Blackwell when Bob Marley walked in, he goes, that's it. He said he saw U2 the first time he saw them. It was in a club with 16 people. 8 of those people had come from his company to see the band. The rest were crew. There was probably one real paying audience member. And that spaghetti moment, that Eminem moment, where they know he's there, he knows they know, and Bono, and they tore it up. Nobody wanted to sign him because they hated the drummer who started the band. That it thing that you see, you can fill up that space with, phantasmagorical fireworks, and that was exciting. That's almost there. But what they're paying for is that character thing. Nobody in Asbury Park, New Jersey, thought that Danny DeVito, when he said he was going to be an actor, was going to do shit. 4'10"? Are you kidding me? Get the fuck out of there. Balding at the age of 20? Nobody. He was great as Martini in, what was it, The One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Great. So I'm painting a scenario for you where you have this magnetic pull of fight connected but totally unrelated interest. Right? I mean, Dan Hardy, he was a friend of Knuckle Up, had been on the show, got his master's in fine arts, is an accomplished artist. He did, and there's another guy, a Norwegian guy who I put in a fight book. I can't remember his name right now. It was MMA was illegal in Norway, so he would have gallery shows, and he would essentially stage fights in gallery shows and call it art. There's plenty of talented fighters. The guy, WWE guys, outside of John Cena, there are a few others. They're largely cartoons. But you look at fighters who are bona fide tough guys, and at the weight of 135 or 140, you could take a Dominic Cruz, put a T-shirt, a button down, and the guy looks like a normal human being. Which means he could play well as anything. They don't all have that it. They don't all inspire that money. So for those who don't think they have the it or not similarly inspired, what do you have? Well, you have maybe, who knows? But I believe what you see happening is that you have this little planet of UFC, and you have this planet of, if I had a ball close by, I would. This planet of William Morris. Now, these satellites, they could move in an orbit around each other quite comfortably. But if you think that this little MMA planet of UFC is not being affected by, and the first line of defense is that cage side seating area for Anthony Kiedis, and who were some of the other celebrities we saw at this last fight? I can't even remember. I've seen Forrest Whitaker there, Cindy Crawford, Holly Hunter. I've seen all these celebrities, pro ball players, all sitting around, and that's where the pull starts. How the fuck did Michael Strahan get a morning show? How the fuck did that happen? You know how that happened? Creative artist William Morris, IGA, right? These are the big three. Keep in mind, like I told you about music instrument manufacturers, keep in mind that these guys are going to work every day and they got to make it rain or they don't have a work to go to every day. You think the guy who called me about the TV show in New York, well, he's doing the same thing. He's trying to make a dollar out of nickels. This Eugene, he's got something. Maybe he could do side. I don't know. The If I Did It crew, maybe that. And then somehow, like the tumblers inside of a combination lock on a safe, sometimes they fall and it happens. And Michael Strahan is knifing Kelly Ripa, and he's got his own show, and she's left doing some little backwater. Boom. And he's not like he's even that long retired. Or, of course, you have on the other side Magic Johnson doing a show. That didn't work out that well. So I'm not saying that there was something stinky in Denmark, right? This is Hitler's 3 level of secrets. The ones I keep from you, the ones we share, and about future events as yet unknown. I'm not saying that there was collusion. This is not in that realm at all, which is why I used quotes around the con. But if you got this universe, you got to know about it. And let me personalize it. if you don't think that I'm thinking at some point before we get to round number 251 and I set myself aflame for not being nominated for MMA Journalist or Commentator of the Year, that someone like Deus Ex Machina will fly in from and rescue me and my future of MMA, I'd be lying. There's this big universe out here, and it exerts a mighty pull over here. In this instance, it's called William Morris. In my instance, it might be creative artist William Morris and IGA, also known as Hope. And the connection between this and this is ambition. Not gravity, ambition. The pull is ambition. It's ambitious. So I'm not saying that that these guys were thinking, but any reasonably smart fighter who's fighting nowadays who's not thinking about that shouldn't be in the fight game. You know, that's why you don't want to get caught with a gun at a strip club. That's why. What do you think? Oh, I'm going to be sanctioned by the UFC. You think that doesn't do shit, you big fucking dummies? It's not the UFC. That's little money compared to the possibility. I did a piece on Johnny Boney Joni, like I've mentioned many a time before, for Men's Vogue. You think that opportunity is coming along a lot for a lot of guys? He didn't just, whatever drug he took or there was in his supplement. Now Malky is given the supplement so it can be tested to see that it's not, which I think it'll probably come back to the supplement was tainted. The one that the B group, the control group as well. No. That's not it. We're talking about the big money, the money that you get when your Q ratings are high, where people, Day of the Locust by Nathaniel West, read it, when they want to consume you. Mary Lou Retton, so batteries, tampons, umbrellas, radios, clocks, shoes. America's Sweetheart. Once you got that faked, you got it made. So these guys, so in other words, this was a wonderfully entertaining fight. And what I'm saying right now, by way of con, is, was it? A fight being an equal engagement of people not colluding. I'm not saying these guys colluded. I'm not saying that. Just for those of you who will half-ass listen to what I said, I am not saying that. What I am saying is that individually, guys are sitting around going, hey, man, they're going to put fucking It's just like the Eddie Murphy joke about poetry in prisons. Kill my landlord. C-I-L-L, my landlord. But all of a sudden, all these prisoners, it was a take on Norman Mailer and Jack Henry Abbott. You don't know who Jack Henry Abbott is, go to Ozzy and type in Jack Henry Abbott, my name, it comes up. There's a great article on it. I wrote it, yes. And so all these prisoners are all of a sudden cutting deals, literary deals, and getting involved in literary criticism. It's the same kind of thing. Any smart fighter is thinking about up market potential. And if that's affecting the game, and I think it is, I don't know that it's affecting it for the better, because while I was entertained at that fight, I can't remember who the commentator was who said it, but he was like, at some point, you guys are going to have to, I think it maybe this thing, you're going to have to bring the fundamentals to bear. Real fighting. That's what this is about, real fighting. He said, he specifically pegged him, he goes, this is like the kind of shit you see in movies. And if that wasn't a bell, for those of you half-ass listening, it should have been. Like you see in the movies. Movies. William Morris, do they have anything to do with? Nah. How could that be? Come on. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. Two people would have to have a whisper. No, but you'd be a fool not to. Like I said, I'm thinking it. Nate's thinking it. Not Tate's thinking it. Alexi, every single person. You think Luke is not thinking it? Luke is thinking it. There are very few people who are their relationship to this super planet is not joined by ambition. I really admire people. Ambition is a curse for me. The people I know who are without ambition are usually rich. And I don't know if they're connected. If I was rich, I would still be pretty ambitious. I like to do things that are fun and challenging, just like the elephants. They were depressed when they were just throwing the pumpkins out there. They hide the pumpkins, they feel accomplished. So anyway, where am I? So anyway, that is my take on Yair and Alex Caceres. Entertaining fight, great. I just feel a little weird about it. That's all. It was entertaining, too entertaining. And then so you're saying, Eugene, that Nate Diaz and Mystic Mac, Conor McGregor, that was legit. Maybe that was just a different type of entertaining. Maybe it just felt legit. Speaking of Mystic Mac, and I know I'm jumping around, I'm not going to go through the fight. I'm not your slave. Mystic Mac, man, he's been given some. You all have been texting me this stuff. He's been given some phenomenal press conferences that just blows your mind. My mind is blown, and you guys have texted me. But True McGee has lost it. He said some shit on that conference call, and Nate didn't even deign to reply. That's one guy. Let me go down the list here. What is the other? He says, McGee doesn't quite sound like true belief. I think he sounds like a man that knows that he can't afford to lose, trying to sound confident. He's unsure of himself, but knows he can't allow that uncertainty to exist. And he's trying to reassure himself because he knows the stakes. He knows the stakes. Well, McGee said he's going to get the round 2 KO. He turned down 7 figures in a movie for this fight, etc., etc. You know what? McGee was singing the Lost Battalion fight song at the presser. On the one hand, that means a lot more. You have my phone number. You guys are paying attention on a rare occasion when I give it out. Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal. And I imagine maybe in my conspiracy that in back channel ways and means that somebody from his gym is like, okay, Nate, what about $1 million? No, he's not going for the $1 million. 2, 3. He'll give you his entire. We don't need to tell him. I don't know, man, but he is saying crazy stuff that seems like he is trying. Like Eddie Murphy used to say, he's the guy who shot the Pope. That's like a guy who wants to go to hell and doesn't want to wait online, which I disagree. The Pope. Okay, let's not get into that. Where'd this quote come from, Frankie? Only those who still have hope can benefit from tears. Did I say that? I don't think I did. So anyway, I don't know. I don't really know. Hey, the poster moved. I don't really know what he's thinking. I don't know what he's drinking. I don't know what's going through his head. He's tried to claw this shit back just a little bit. By saying, we all know he's got RDA, the pussy, now he's lost the fight, the pussy this, the pussy that, he didn't fight the fight. He is planning his next move. And he's planning his next move in the worst possible way ever. He's planning his next move along the lines of, well, if I lose. You're only saying if, when in your head what you really mean is when. It's all right. Like I used to joke, man, they play walkout music. I want to hear walk back music. Yeah. That clown music that they play, that should be the walk back music. Conor McGregor's walking back after getting choked the fuck out. Keep in mind, I like Conor McGregor. But a good man's got to know his limitations. And working for 2 months with your jiu-jitsu, what are you going to try? Oh, I'm going to try it. Wait. Guard pass? Did you see ADCC put up this thing? Everybody, it's a little joke because but I've been laughing about it all day. All day. And of course, every single person who saw it and thought of me, they can go straight to hell. But I've been laughing about it all day, and I'm going to show you right now. Let's see if I can have it. It's from ADCC. I'm going to hold it up, and it says BJJ first year, and then they BJJ 7. Can you see it? And you know what? And I'll let you see the guy's comment above. He spelled the holy wrong, but holy shit, Eugene Robinson. And look at his eyes. Look at his eyes here, right there. After 7 years of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's the funniest fucking thing ever because it's true. It's true. 7 years. It's a pirate ship of lunacy. He's not going to do it in 2 months. So is there a way for Mystic Mac to save himself? Is there a way for Mystic Mac to save himself and his relevancy in the sport? You know, right now through back channels, what's happening is he's like thinking like, I could help RDA. RDA's down. He could help me when I'm down, which is going to be fucking August 21st. Now his problem is that he was like it's like a coloring book. The punches were in the right place, but they didn't have the right effect. You know what? A 6-year-old can hit me as hard as he wants. It's probably not going to knock me out, depending on the 6-year-old. So he's putting it and realizing that, you know, you're talking about a bigger guy who's used to being hit by bigger guys, and he's like those horrible dreams you have where you're punching at the monster and nothing's happening. So what's he going to do? He's going to stand in a different place in the pocket, and he's going to put more pep. He goes, it's about precision and not speed and strength, about precision placement, and you're going to precisely place it here, and it's not. In this instance, it's going to be about speed and power. Power and speed are probably coefficients or something of each other. I don't know. It's been a long time since I took physics. That's not the issue. He's now become another human being because the specter and the stink of loss haunt him day and night. And I got news for you. Anybody downwind or anybody in the future line should know this is not the same guy. Even if he wins this fight, this is not the same guy. You don't change Auschwitz. Auschwitz changes you. Total loss in the face of horror. And I know I'm overstating the case of losing to Nate Diaz, baby. Not viewed by many as a total loss. But somebody put it in print today and they said, you know, a guy who's not even in the top, you know, not even a belt holder in the top 5. Well, I don't know about that. Non-championship fight or some such thing. But, you know, Mystic Mac, the more he opens his mouth, yes, they are the locusts. Oh, shit, I should have recognized it. It's been a while since I read it. The more he opens his mouth, the more it's clear. The more it's clear. What Joe Rogan is encroaching on my shit here. Weed makes sex feel better. Booze makes you fuck people you probably shouldn't. I like that, Joe. I'm the sex columnist here, though, buddy. I'm the sex columnist here. Anyway, where were we? So, hold on. I can't. My assistant was acting so weird. I hesitate to I hesitate to do anything different. I'm not making a move here. In fact, my ass hurts from sitting in the same seat, and I am not moving. I am terrified to do so. I can't find anything. So anyway, I guess, hey, when did I start the show? Because, you know, I'll go for 3 hours. I don't want to do this. I have no, usually what I look at is when the announcement says, when I say, hey, I'm going to do the show, and I look at the announcement, then I know, oh, I've got 20, 30 minutes. I want to develop a line of argumentation, but, you know, I don't want to go for 3 hours. I got stuff to do. What did I say? I think I said 8:45, right? Yeah, I just started 8:45. So anyway, so McG is talking crazy. And what's interesting about this is like, you know, you're windmilling like crazy in the Lost Battalion. I'm not saying he's there yet, not at all. But this is the stuff that you know, this is the guy who's showing up to the recruitment center, and he's got the bells and the whistles. But anyway, let's go back to the fight. And I'm already booked, got a place to watch it, and geeked beyond all measure. And you know what? I'll tell you something else. If I'm Nate, I know Nate will never do this, but if I'm Nate, I halfway want to reschedule just to fuck with his head. Just to fuck him over. But that won't be. And I think whatever Nate happened that he referred to about how we can't trust the UFC, they're trying to backbench me again. I think that this is going to be responsible for McGregor ass beating that will, like Sorrell said, the things that break when you lose are sometimes never fixed. Yeah, that's not getting fixed anytime soon. Fortunately, he got some time off, but not enough. Not enough. So anyway, I got the Casares and Yair Rodriguez for me generate a lot more questions than I got answers. Don't know. Dennis Bermudez, I picked Bermudez, but I said he's just one of those guys that's still around. You gotta wonder, what the fuck is he doing around? Who's it? What? Who? Not like it's a bad thing. He won, but it's like, so a decision. And come on. I mean, stasis is not a great place to be. You want a guy up or down. You don't want a guy who's just kind of there, you know. Dallas Lates and Chris Camozzi. Kid Nate called Chris Camozzi boring. I just said Dallas Lates. I respected his jiu-jitsu skills more. I said Lates was going to put him away. He put him away the third round, rear naked choke, as it would be. So far, I'm 2 up. Going backwards in time, but it was so spotty. We cared about so few, and Kid Nate cared about different ones. I didn't care about the Ponzinibbio fight, but I think I said that he was going to win, and I think Kid Nate did as well. We had divergence, very few of the places, but it doesn't count because I didn't care about that fight. I didn't care about Gliotti or Trevor Smith. Sorry, I didn't care about that one. I didn't care about Marina Moroz and Daniel Taylor. I didn't care about I did care about Court McGee. And I called it for Court McGee, and Court McGee won. So that was nice. Even though Smirk is not doing it, it's always nice to be able to rub it. So Victor Pesta, Marcin Tagura, David Tamor, Jason Novelli didn't care. Chibuto Ishihara. This was great. Ishihara, and this ties into, we call this a callback in stand-up comedy, and I'm not a stand-up comedian. Ishihara he knocked dude out, Gutierrez, first round. But what was less exciting what was more exciting than that, when that was pretty exciting, was a press conference where he says he's in Utah for the bitches, and everybody was like, "Isn't it funny? How come it's adorable when a guy from Japan says it?" And I said, you know, nothing that small is adorable. I mean, small. What did I say? Somebody asked me to respond. I did respond. I can't remember what I said. If you're looking at the Twitter feed, you could see what I said. But, you know, I sat there and I watched it. with him talking about bitches, and he's gonna get the bitches, and I was like, yeah, Japanese do what they do in terms of they take the distillate of Western culture and they absorb it and recreate their own image and spit it back. So he's got the braids. I expected to hear him bust out with a yo-yo bitches. You know, was I watching a hip hop guy? Or Ishihara? What was I? You know what? There's not a single bitches in Utah who's giving you the time of day, Jack. You know, it's sort of it's like with the whole thing with wiggers. Wiggers. You know, it's like you know, is it a tribute? Is it why'd you like your own color? I did some Jenny Jones show, people who hate their own race, and they brought me in as the expert. I was supposed to be this intellectual. They couldn't find anybody else who could like debunk self-hatred. There are plenty of reasons to hate you other than your race. I could start with your shoes. Oh, the audience goes, yeah, no. So the fact that he's acting like a douchebag American is supposed to be amusing to me. And it's not just because I have daughters, right? It's just, man, this shit is lame. If it was an American guy who did it, that's going to be cute because you do it, fuck out of here with all that, you know? The thing is, I like players, but guys who are doing shit like that, they're not, he's going to be playing Pokemon Go in the fucking hotel at 4 a.m. He's not doing shit. In fact, the guys who are really fucking working, like that guy who came out to Smooth Operator at one of Tachi Palace fights, that you could see as he walks down, he's like, if I don't win this fight, I'm getting laid. How about this? If I win this fight, I'm getting laid. How about this? I'm here. I'm just going to get off the stage before I get to the cage because I got to go get laid. Fuck you and your fight. You know, that I can respect. But they're bitches. Bitches. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Come on. And the guys, and it's funny. Are we laughing with him or are we laughing at him? Are we laughing at ourselves or are we laughing with ourselves? Get the fuck out of here. My gay dude friend, school, the one who tried to aggressively get me to stop using the word cocksucker and the word motherfucker. And I was gonna say, fuck your political correct. And I go, it's not political correctness, man. Dude said it best. Aristotle, unexamined life is not worth living. These are words you've chosen to use these words. And if you've not chosen them, you're beyond redemption. You've chosen to use these words because they have some sort of an emotional impact. Well, you know, you like your mother? You don't think your mother should have it? Why should a mother who fucks be shameful? Why is that? And the guy was like breaking it down, like, you know, you like having your cock sucked, you like to, you know, or maybe I'm a guy, he's gay, I like sucker guy. Why is this a shit? And you're like, well, I'm just using it as a, well, no. We're using words specifically because they have some value. This guy up there with the bitches, this, fuck that. Take that hip hop bullshit on the arches. Fucking hate it. And I think that the hip hop community, I don't want to sound like an old guy, but I think the hip hop community deserves a weight of responsibility for people fucking crazy bullshit for the last 20 years. These guys cruise by a house every fucking day playing this shit. And it's like, you are what you eat, you know? So I start making fun of guys like Drake, but thank God this is for sensitive boy hip hop. Because at least as much of this shit as y'all have eaten, that there's got to be some maybe at least some of the redeeming thing. I mean, the low point and what kicked it all off was Evil Snaggin', Niggas for Life, the NWA's second record, the track To Kill a Hooker. Come on, man. There was no reason for that. And that set the fucking template for, I mean, you could direct, you know, there's a Venn diagram, you know, with the superset of this hip hop and horrible. I don't know. I'm sounding too much like a dad. I know, but I didn't think the shit was cute. I sat there like this. Everybody was going, oh, it's so funny. Dude said bitches, and he's getting. Guys think it was funny, man. You know, think about your Q rating, baby. Think about your Q rating in the new world, the new WME world. Think about that. Cub Swanson and Kawajiri, and I picked Cub Swanson, and Cub Swanson won. So, and then the other shit I didn't care about, right? It was just one other thing. So I said it would be a short show. It's not. It's actually like 4 minutes. 4 minutes early. My voice is gone because I've been talking aloud a lot. Like I said, my mom is here. My mom, my husband, my sisters were in town. Some friends came from far and wide, and the cause for celebration. You know, my nuptials. Yeah, I actually got married a year ago, but only got around to having the wedding party. Had one in Poland and had one yesterday. So I didn't think I would get to the show, but here I am for you. I'm beat, but I did it. And even with the tech problems that happened earlier, which I think I had too many people in the house who were on the Wi-Fi's, on the Wi-Fi. So anyway, so that is largely the show. I think I've covered it all. I got my space for the Mystic Mac thing. Come later in the week, we'll do If I Did It. We'll do the Care Don't Care preview. And I think there was one other thing that I was wanting to cover. I told the Carl Rove story. Talked about the Chris Blackwell thing. Mystic Mac. I'm trying to think if I got it all. I got it all. And let me make something clear to you. I remember they said in the old days, you know, when you want to know how to get signed. You know what trick you do to get signed? And people are like, what do I do? They said, just do what you're doing. You know, let us find you. All these people that go out to Hollywood with dreams of making it, like 97% of those people end up on their knees and sit behind somebody's couch, okay? They don't get anywhere. It's a sausage on the plate thing. Your plate's fucking empty. You know what? And I got 5 fucking sausages on my plate, and I will have 5 sausages on my plate, and you will be a load heavy. That's the only thing that's happening here. You start to read these celebrities. You start to read the. I'll give you one of my favorite celebrity stories before I end it. Naomi Watt, the actress. And she's sitting on Mulholland Drive. This could be a lie, but things weren't breaking her way. She came here from Australia. Things weren't breaking her way at all. She's sitting in a car. She's about to drive her car off the cliff, wants to kill herself. And then she said, then I remembered something my friend Nicole Kidman said. Whoa, wait. Your friend Nicole Kidman. You mean you got a friend who's married to one of the most powerful fucking men in Hollywood, and this friend is not helping you? This is not a friend. To which, if I had actually been speaking to Naomi Watt, she would have turned to me and said, this is not a friend. You're right. This is Hollywood. Your best friend will be, oh, it's terrible. Well, my next movie is going to be Legend, and Tom and I are going to. Hey, I could play a wood nymph. You know, I could play. They're not going to help you. Why? Because the machinery chooses. Russia chooses you. You don't choose Russia. Or you make yourself available on your knees behind the couch. Russia will be glad to drop a load on you. But other than that, no go. So the fact that the WME has backed up the truck to the UFC, boy, jamoy, this is a good time. But if you get caught, like people have already served notice on Yair. Why don't you do the basics? You know, this is about fighting. Do some punching, kicking, grappling, and save that acrobatic shit when you go on auditions, because you don't need it here. Because if you lose us, you lose them. You don't think it's true? What happened to Ronda and Roadhouse? What happened to Honda and Ms. Marvel? There's huge amounts of money, and these people now are in prime positions to get it. It's not just about who's smart, who's stupid. Not just about that. It's not just about who's on their knees behind the couch and who's not. It's not who's in their car in Mulholland driving about to go over the edge, not. That it thing that Bob Marley had, that's what we want. And while you can be conscious of it, you can't contrive it. Not successfully, not for the long term. So WME, one of the best things that happen to this sport in the long run, you'll come to see this. Also, one of the worst things. If what we're left with are a bunch of guys, you know, doing pliés on in the cage, you know, and then trying to make highlight reels to get, then that doesn't serve anybody's interest. You got to be you. And if that you got to be is somehow wanting, then so be it. Not trying to change to sell out, but if there's an opportunity to sell out, I'll be glad to change. Nah, I just got to do my thing. And if my thing coincides with the thing that you think that you can sell, glad to have you sell it. But if I'm a cage fighter, I'm going in and doing some fighting in the cage. I can leave the cartwheels for Sunday with the kids. Anyway, that's the show. I got to go eat a cookie. I'll see you next week. At Eugene S. Robinson on Twitter, or you can read my stuff on Ozzy.com. Just go to this little magnifying glass, type my name. Anyway, we got to go. Look what you made me do!